Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. I'm observing that there are a lot of people that have opinions on certain things without sufficient facts and data. Will real money actually flow into XRP or Bitcoin or whatever the hell coin you're interested in? Is that actually going to happen? Because that's what we need is greater demand. You want higher price. It's not only about supply. What about actual demand, which I think is typically more consequential if you want these crazy runs that we've historically seen in the world of crypto? Well, the approval of multiple Bitcoin ETFs narrative was supposed to result in such an insane amount of money flowing into, well, not just Bitcoin, but the entire crypto asset class, that it would result in everything, including XRP, rocketing in short order to new highs. But that didn't happen, did it? And I didn't expect it to happen. I talked about it for a long time leading up to the event of the approval of these ETFs. I didn't think for a moment that was what was most probable. And I kept saying, happy to be wrong. I would love to be wrong. I just don't think I'm wrong. But I will tell you that if the spot Bitcoin ETFs had not been approved, the market would be much lower. And XRP might not have held onto a very crucial support level that it's bumping against right now, actually. And the market would be lower for two primary reasons. First of all, people would have freaked out and sold as a result of the scary news. So there are people that didn't freak out because we didn't get the scary news. Presumably, some of them are still here, even though it's been a week, and some people have been selling. But also, because real money has flown into Bitcoin ETFs, as I will show you in this video. And so obviously the price has still been going down, but why might that be? Well, that's what I want to talk about, because there are some people with undeserved confidence, I would say, as it pertains to this particular topic. But before going further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right, now in my last video, I shared this post from Chart Analyst Cryptos, but I wanted to highlight it again just to note where we're at here. Noted XRP daily closed above support. 54 cents is our most important level. We'll likely revisit yesterday's lows before a bounce. And at the time I'm recording, XRP is just a hair shy of 55 cents. So it's a crucial level that all sorts of analysts are talking about. So if you want us to see us bounce up off here, just please, people overcomplicate this stuff. The entire asset class moves in tandem. If Bitcoin breaks down, then XRP may break down. If Bitcoin isn't going to break down, it is less likely that XRP will break down. You don't have to be a chart guy to understand this. I've been in the space over 6 years. I see it all the damn time. The market does move in tandem, period. But that's not to say that, the ETF stuff, it's not that it doesn't have an impact. Take a look at this. There's this post from Jim Cramer, who is arguably the most incorrect fake financial guru on the planet today. He's the most well-known one anyway, right? This guy, I don't know how it's possible that one single alleged pro when it comes to finance and picking stuff, I don't know how there could be one single human that is so consistently incorrect, and people still will follow him. My God, people would just be better off if they just buy index funds. Just buy just pick like a BlackRock, S&P 500 ETF, and just, you're good. You'll do better with that than with Jim Cramer. This isn't some sort of, God when it comes to picking stocks. It's ridiculous. But anyway, he wrote the following. And this is just last night. He said, "Nasty beginning to the Bitcoin sell-off. Someone's probably going to try to make a stand here, but as we said last night, you can't have an asset double in value by hundreds of billions of dollars in anticipation of an ETF, and then almost no one shows up." Is that right, Jim Cramer? Has it actually been a horrific sell-off to this point? Well, at least at the time that I'm recording, the answer is certainly no. And in fact, a popular analyst by the name of Chad's 321,400 followers wrote, "To be honest, it's actually pretty mild selling / consolidation so far. I honestly don't know a single seasoned Bitcoin trader who described it as nasty." Yeah, and certainly in the world of crypto, even if you look at the percentage decline from the top, like the recent top, I find it would be it'd be like blood in the streets if that were the percentage decrease in traditional finance like equities, okay, fine. This is crypto. This is not the case here. It's a highly volatile market. There's less liquidity. There's less money in the space. It is just going to be more volatile until it matures and things flatten out over time. That's just how it works. Once more money flows in, it's hard to get it to double, triple. So not just double, triple, but that means that it's also harder to have sufficient forces to the downside for it too. That's just how this stuff works here. And so the fact that Bitcoin did what it did, even if you buy into the theory, and maybe it's true, that price action was pulled forward as a result of all the whole ETF narrative here, what was happening during that same time? Well, we know that the crypto asset class moves in tandem with what's happening in equities. What's been happening? Well, it's not been so bad in equities the last few months, has it? It's just... And so, of course, Bitcoin moves to a greater degree to the upside when it goes, but still... Jim Cramer. Oh, Jim Cramer. That's a real human that exists, guys. Don't forget, that is a real human that exists. So what about the ETFs, though? Is it as bad as everybody's saying? Well, no, it's not, and it was never going to be a buy the news event. I mean, I didn't think that's what was probable anyway, but I genuinely would have been happy to be wrong, though. I mean that. I said it multiple times leading up to it, really would have been happy to lead up to it. So the fact that it wasn't a buy the news event, is this some sort of disastrous thing? No, this is personally what I was expecting, And if anything, I was expecting to sell the news event. And, over the last week, price has gone down over the time. It just wasn't a dramatic sell-off. But still, has it been as bad as people are saying? No, it's actually better than what some people would have you believe. But that's because I think a lot of people are just saying stuff. They're not happy that the price didn't go up further, and they're just blaming the ETF action. I don't think they know what the hell the numbers are. The numbers are good. There was never going to be enough right out the gate to get us to rocket to a new all-time high for Bitcoin. I never thought that made sense. But are the numbers good for these brand new products which just launched about a week ago? Yes, there is actual demand for them. And Grayscale not doing so hot with their ETF, their Bitcoin ETF, their GBTC. It was converted from a trust into an ETF, so now everybody can buy and sell it on major stock exchanges in traditional finance. But they have a fee of, I think, 1.5%, whereas if you look at BlackRock, I want to say BlackRock's, if I'm not mistaken, it's somewhere around like 0.2% for the first 6 months, and then it's 0.3% after half a year. So a lot of people are theorizing that people would stay in Grayscale, perhaps just because there could be tax implications, but that doesn't seem to be holding people from selling off. Apparently what is way more important to these people is the fact that the fee is way higher, 1.5% versus 0.2 to 0.3% for a lot of these ETFs. And so the Wolf of Wall Street, Scott Melker here, shared the following with his 932,000 followers on X. Grayscale is not actively dumping on the market. People are selling GBTC, which means Grayscale has to sell the equivalent amount of Bitcoin. It's not nefarious. It's simply the mechanics of an ETF. And so, folks, it is the case that a Bitcoin ETF is backed by actual Bitcoin based on the actual demand. That's what's been so attractive about an ETF. So, if any firm is selling their Bitcoin holdings, it's because their customers, the people that were buying into it, they are selling. It's such a basic mechanic that people don't seem to grasp here. And I'm so glad that he shared it. It's such a basic concept. And these people don't know it. They're mad at the entity for... What are you talking about? That's not how these funds work, damn it. That was never how this is going to work. The appeal is that if there is real demand, then it's the everyday person that can get exposure, but then these firms hold the actual asset. That is the appeal of this. And there will be an XRP ETF at some point in the future, I believe. Perhaps not particularly soon. Well, it's not while Kim Jong-Gensler's in charge, but I still think that's going to be fantastic for XRP too. It'll be great. That's the reason I'm looking forward to that. But either way, this brings more attention to the entire space. And that's why I keep saying, it's kind of what I was talking about at the outset of the video. Is real money going to flow into XRP? Yes. If you have a sufficient time horizon, my God, yes. Since we know that there's this correlation between the stock market and crypto, if you believe that overall the stock market is going to keep going up despite even at times pullbacks and recession impacting the amount of money being invested in, if you believe that, and I sure as hell do, then more money comes in. We just need more. It's about demand. If you're wondering why the price of XRP isn't higher, it's because there's not more demand. That's the real problem. It's not because of dumping on the market or this or that. That's not what's causing it. We need more demand. Because even if the price of XRP were double, well, how much more demand in terms of dollars are you expecting to flow in? More than double, right? So even if the XRP supply could double, or are we going to have 10 times as much money flow in, or 20 times? Like, what exactly are you expecting? So that's why I keep saying, like, I get it. I acknowledge the supply side of things, but what about the future demand side? People just, they don't focus on it sufficiently here. That's why I was talking about this. But then there was also this from Eric Balchunas. And so here we're getting into the actual flows. Now, Eric Balchunas, a name you may be familiar with by now, senior ETF analyst for Bloomberg. And this is why I wanted to highlight this, because he's deep into the data on this. He's sharing what he knows, real data. Does this look good? And the answer is yes, because the crypto asset class is here to stay, son. XRP, clearly here to stay. It has reached network effect. It's been here for over a decade. We just need more people to adopt crypto, broadly speaking, and money will go where it deserves. That's what I believe, anyway. And so there is this post yesterday morning, and he wrote the following. Latest, day 4 was a good one. The rolling net flows grew to $1.2 billion after the newborn 9 pulled in $914 billion on Wednesday, by far their best day yet, overwhelming the 450 million. Oh, by the way, he did write billion there. He did correct that. He meant 914 million. So I just wanted to mention that. So again, 914 million on Wednesday. By far their best day yet, overwhelming the 450 million out of GBTC. That's grayscales. The 9 have now taken in $3 billion and traded $5.4 billion in the first 4 days. Abnormally high numbers. IBIT, which is, so that'd be the BlackRock one iShares, is now over $1 billion. FBTC, which is Fidelity's Bitcoin ETF, close behind, and BitB, which is from Bitwise, that ETF, firmly in third place now. 5 of them are over $100 million. Obviously, the 9 are growing beyond GBTC bleed, but even if every penny of GBTC outflows went to them, and it hasn't, this is normal stuff. ETFs have been taking money from high-cost mutual funds for decades now. It still flows, even though net no new demand from underlying stocks. And it still helped them grow and get mojo, which has led to millions of new investments. So get used to it. The 9 going to steal more. 9 going to steal from more than GBTC2. Anything high cost is vulnerable now. This is the way. And so look, he's noting here, yes, there have been outflows from GBTC. Undoubtedly, some of them have just gone into cheaper funds. Some people may have just outright cashed out. Okay, fine. But what you're looking at is a net increase in the funds. So even if you have big outflows for the grayscale one, look at everything else. This is net plus. So what you actually see is that what's happening in the ETF markets right here, it's outperforming lately what's actually been happening on spot, meaning people that are buying on cryptocurrency exchanges like you and me. The ETF side is actually, it's destroying that performance. Now, of course, the spot market, a little bit bigger, but it's also been around for, almost 15 years, whatever it's been. I know there weren't cryptocurrency exchanges right from the inception, but you get the cut of my jib here. And so that resulted in this type of comment. There's this comment from somebody named Flashman, don't know who this guy is, 68 followers on X, and he said, and he's just being rude. So he responded to Eric Balchunas and he said, "Never in my life have I seen inflows of 2 billion in price drop. Either A, your numbers you report are incomplete, or B, you just post wrong data, LOL, clown face emoji." So he's just making fun of him. So this is somebody who is not only wrong, but has undeserved confidence, as is frequently the case on Tay Webinets. So that was reposted by Eric Balchunas, who wrote the following. "Numbers are right, Holmes. Consider this. Stocks have sell-offs all the time, even though ETFs that own them see billions of inflows. How? Because it's a big effing market. ETFs are a minority owner. That said, the ETF inflows do have impact. They help make sell-off less bad. Same deal here." And so, folks, that is exactly what it is. On the ETF side, things are actually looking really good. It's looking pretty spectacular, and it's just going to grow over a span of years and decades. It's just going to be that much more consequential. But it's a small piece of the overall market. So if the rest of the market is panicking because we didn't have this moonshot because of the ETF volume at this particular juncture in time, yeah, it's everybody else that was already in the market that's freaking out and selling. It doesn't mean that there's a problem with the ETF stuff. That's the point. So is the money going to flow in? Yes, obviously. The asset class just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. All we have to do is precisely nothing. We have to wait. If we're speculators, if we're holding, all we have to do is literally nothing. It's getting paid to do nothing. It's one of the reasons I'm not exactly concerned about my XRP. It's functionally useful. As long as it continues to be useful, I don't think that we're going to see a trend reversal for the first time in over a decade for XRP. And if I'm wrong, I could lose everything. And I could be wrong. And it could go to zero. Investing is risky. I totally get that. But I don't see a reason to think that's the case. I think more money flows into XRP, which happens to be my largest individual holding. Then there was this. And then just, this is about, closer to 12 hours ago, a little less than that. He had another update. This is Eric Balchunas again, and he simply wrote, "This is interesting. The newborn 9 actually saw a 34% jump in volume today versus yesterday. Normally, with a hyped-up launch, you see volume steadily decrease each day post-launch. Rare to see it reverse back up. All but one saw jump to GBTC change flat, so it wasn't a volatility thing. Good sign in my opinion." Well, how about that? So even though spot market freaking out a little bit, people still throwing money into the Bitcoin ETFs. On the whole, looking pretty damn good. And look, this is his entire career. Like, this is his background. This is what he does for Bloomberg. And he's telling you this is not normal. It's very good. So yes, it's a positive thing. And I just think that people, they got the whole ETF narrative completely wrong. This seems perfectly reasonably. So it's awesome numbers, but right out the gate, it's not going to have a crazy impact because it's too small compared to the rest of the market on a global scale. But over time, it's going to matter infinitely more than it does now. I don't know what the numbers are going to look like, but unless you think these investment vehicles are going to fail, and I don't, the amount of money that's going to flow in over a span of years and decades is going to melt faces. And here people are flipping out over the short term, worried about what's happening with their Bitcoin price or their XRP or pick your coin. I'm not. I'm sitting here and understanding this. I'm just excited. I'm purely excited because of all this. I just think that people, that's why I'm trying to share that's the reason I want to make this video. I don't think this is understood. That's it. And so that's why, again, had the news been scarier and these Bitcoin ETFs not gotten approved, yeah, we would have seen, I'm sure Bitcoin would be a lower price right now. That's one thing. And also, even though the rest of the market is way bigger than what's happening with ETFs, the price to whatever degree would be lower if this money hadn't flown in. So it dampens the blow. That's why this guy that gave the little clown face emoji to Eric Balchunas just being rude on the internet, he doesn't get it. It dampens the blow. That makes the sell-off less bad than it otherwise would have been because this is a good portion of the market that is seeing positive inflows at a time when spot is seeing negative inflows over the last week, broadly speaking. This is all good stuff, man. And so Spot keeps doing what Spot's been doing the whole time, acting completely ridiculous. I'm here for it. I'm counting on those humans to continue to make poor investment decisions based on their feels, and I'm just going to be rock solid and not respond in such a way, and the number go up over time. That's it. Let's not overcomplicate this stuff. This is great. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.